And live.
Hello.
Surprise, surprise live, surprise attack, however you want to call it.
We're just going live all the time. We can't get enough. We can't get enough of it. No, but we've shared this before. It's like we will still be going live in June, so it doesn't really affect people here. But because we do these also on our podcast with travel, sometimes it gets tricky. So that just means more for you all.
More surprise lives that we don't warn you about, but maybe, maybe
Just
you just
pop in
happen to be
there.
on. And whether you're alive or listening to us after this has gone out already, it doesn't really matter because we're going to get your dating questions answered.
Yes.
That's
And
right.
today we're going to talk a lot about the ick. We got some good ones around this topic. I always love telling you about the ick 'cause I think it's such a funny phenomenon. Like, where did this come from? You know?
And like, who invented this word? They couldn't think of anything more sophisticated.
Funny
Like,
you ask because I
oh,
actually
oh,
looked
you
at the
know the
history
history.
of the ick.
It sounds like a third grader came up with it.
It's
Maybe it is.
funny because where did I put this in? It must have been ChatGPT, my favorite, companion
Tool.
nowadays. But whatever I got has like legit graphics that go with it. I kind of wish I could share it with you. It's like origins and evolutions, and there's a magnifying glass. Early use cases in British slang, and then there's a head, like a brain illustration. I don't know where this
Wow.
came from, but what's interesting is the ick has been informally used in the UK for quite some time to refer to a feeling of discomfort, cringe, and mild disgust. It was used more broadly, not just in dating, but to describe anything that made someone feel gross or unsettled.
Mm, yeah.
Makes sense that it's British. I never realized that, but it feels like British humor to be like ick, the ick.
Somehow it sounds a little bit more sophisticated.
Yeah, somehow.
No, you're like, oh, it's the ick. Like, I just kept picturing this little girl with boogers in her nose chasing a boy and being like, eh, ick, ick, ick.
But then the next part of this history lesson given to us by ChatGPT, there's a graphic of an old school television that corresponds. And it says Love Island UK 2017 to 2020.
Okay.
Apparently, the term exploded in popularity due to contestants on Love Island UK, where several contestants use getting the ick to describe suddenly being turned off by someone
Yeah,
even for irrational reasons. He was too keen. I got the ick. Wow, that's British.
that's very British. Okay, so it's British either way.
Yep. And then social media amplification. I wish I could show you this graphic. It's like this old school phone. I love that it's now becoming graphics in. And so it really saying like TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram took the phrase global, especially during the pandemic
Mm,
2020 onward, where users shared icks lists or experiences with their feelings when their feelings suddenly flipped. And the term became popular in memes and videos, often humorous or exaggerated. It's about right.
I feel pretty ick about the ick, even
but
knowing the history.
but it has been like the last couple years is when you really have heard this go crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And people have always had things where they get turned off by someone. They
Yeah.
just say it's a turn off, but now it's like a thing to have the ick.
Yeah. I mean, the only time I've ever gotten the ick, I mean, I feel like I probably got the ick before it was called this and it was so normalized, but I did. One of our mutual friends showed us a photo she got. Do you remember this? That
Oh, like, oh yeah,
she got this photo from
from
this
some
guy
guy
she
she
was
was seeing.
seeing,
Yeah.
and she got the ick because the way he
Yes.
was, like, posed in the photo, and I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
I think you're overreacting," and then I saw the photo, and I'm like, "Okay, I get it."
no, that was ick worthy.
That was the
That was
most
ick worthy.
ick-worthy I've seen.
'Cause it wasn't okay, I think we can defend this a little bit because he was, like, really posing, like, it
Yeah, he was,
was
like, on a bed, like, hands, like
yes. Yeah, it was a pose. I think when you get the ick because of the way someone eats, that's a little different because that's who
Right.
they are on an everyday basis. But this guy's not posing like this every day. So
Or is
I
he? Who
defend that
knows?
ick. Oh yeah. It's like imagine being in a relationship with me and waking up to this every day.
Okay, so I this word gives me the ick, which is why I thought of it, but I feel like I've been lost for years. I don't know how I just discovered that BAE, BAE, stands for
Mhm.
before anyone else. Did you know
Mhm.
that?
Mhm.
Okay, have I just been, like, living under a rock? I don't know why I
But
thought it
you
was. Yeah.
shortened for you thought it was like a shortened babe, huh? Or like
Yeah,
a
that's what
yeah,
I thought
yeah.
it was. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
realize it actually was an acronym that stood for something. My mind was
Yeah.
blown when I saw that, but that word does give me the ick.
Well, I think like, why do you need a like a I don't know why you need an acronym for something like that.
Before anyone else. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
usually acronyms, I mean, I guess sometimes I feel like they're usually like a shortened word, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I
Like, I
guess
just think and also it's, like, not that much shorter than babe, so mm,
like
it's redundant to me.
I get bae being like a new babe, but that's not even what it is.
It's not
Like,
even
no one
what
would
it
be like, "Oh, this is my before anyone else." Like, you would never say
is.
that. Oh, I'm blown away.
Maybe you wouldn't. Maybe some of the younger kids are
That's
like,
true.
"Oh,
That's
this
true.
is
I'm
my
too old
before
for
anyone
bae.
else."
If I called my partner a bae, what would you do?
I would I would check your temperature. I'd be like, "Are you okay? Are you sick?
Although,
Are you okay?"
okay, I had a friend, she had a coming out party. She's now back to being straight, and they wore
Oh,
jackets that said gay for bae. So this was someone our age, so it makes it to the lexicon.
wait, she came out being straight?
No, she was straight, then she dated a woman. We had her on our podcast. Yeah.
Right, okay, right,
And
right, right.
they had like a whole coming out party and they had matching jackets that said gay for bae.
Mhm.
So, you know, I'm just, I guess, an example that people of our age do use that word. It's not so far off.
I mean, because it rhymes and then, like, it's
Yeah, that's
short enough
true.
to fit onto a
That's true.
jacket, and it's, like, kind of catchy.
That's true. If it rhymed with babe, they would have just used that, whatever it
Yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah.
But you
Like,
know my
babe for
feelings on
Gabe.
babe also.
Yeah, you don't like that term and you would never use bae. We get it, Julie, we get it. You rather use little bunny poo poo or
No, I'm
whatever.
not, that is not what I said. For the record, I'm not going around saying little bunny poop. I feel like UA has said that, making fun of stickers. I said, I am not calling my partner little bunny poo poo.
Julie's like, "Oh, no, I can't say babe, but
I
little
mean,
bunny
I
snail
do have a secret
bear."
nickname that I will not reveal, but it's not as bad as little bunny poo poo.
Okay, but also, what's funny is that, like, you you and your partner both have short names.
Yeah, that's true.
So when you are in public, this is like how I like to use babe. But when you're in public, you can just call him by name, right?
You have a short name as well.
But when my partner, his name is so long, it's hard for me to be like screaming that name in public.
It's not
So
that long.
it's weird. I think it's weird calling him
I can, yeah.
by name,
I
like
s-
in public. When I need him, I'm like, "Help me with my luggage."
He has, like,
You know.
medium name. I see what you're saying. I would say it's like, but people are probably, like, envisioning this name that is, like, so long. I wouldn't go that far, but it's definitely medium. It's not short, but your ex had a short name.
He did, yes.
Do
But
you
I don't
still
know, I
use
just
babe?
didn't feel I felt weird calling them by name. I just,
It's
like,
okay.
never call them by their name, but I never call them bae either.
Some people are babe people, some people are bae people, and some are none of the above, and that's okay.
You can be any, and
Yeah.
some are no, I haven't heard any other variations. It's really just those.
I don't know
But
if I
good
I
to
think
know.
I like babe better than baby. I think baby gives me
Mm,
really ultimate cringe.
I think that's, like, generational.
Yeah. So my ex before, he used to call me sweetheart. And it wasn't like we weren't like in like the grocery store and he's like yelling sweetheart. Like it's not like that, but it's more like endearment.
Uh-huh.
And I like that.
That's sweet.
Yeah. It wasn't, yeah. I guess it depends on your use case. It'd be really weird if someone was like yelling sweetheart at the grocery store.
What does he call you? What did he call you at the grocery store?
I don't know, Julie. I don't know. And I actually didn't call him sweetheart back. I just called him his name. Also short names.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Yeah.
I won't reveal my current nickname because it is a little embarrassing, and it's a secret I'll take to the grave.
If you're not gonna tell us, then everybody will think it's little buddy poo poo.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go on the record and say it's not as bad as that. Maybe this is good. You're setting the bar really, really low. So like when if I were to reveal, which I've said I wouldn't, it's a between him and I thing, people will be like, "Oh yeah, that's not a big deal." Because little buddy poo poo is really bad.
Oh, buddy poo poo, give me some celery. Can you hand me that celery? Poo poo for short. Poo poo for
I just I think for anyone that hasn't been around, I did admit, and you always seen these, that there's these little stickers we would send each other, and it was
yes.
called Bunny Boo and Barreloo. It's like a little I don't know, a artist made them. You can get them on your phone, like, it's not, like, exclusive or anything, and, like, they're not, like, a big
They're
thing.
made just for you
Yeah,
two.
like, anyone could use them, but we look them up, and they're really cute, and they have names, and that's where UA has run with it.
That's right. I knew it had bunnies,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, boo, poo. Yeah, okay, now it makes sense.
Do not say that on our officiant speech. Just
Oh,
kidding.
shoot. Now I have to rip up the whole thing. Damn it.
Start from scratch.
Oh, no.
It's
Glad you're telling
ruined.
me now. That's how I was gonna start it. Okay. What mine's kinda similar to the ick.
Okay.
It's all kind of related, but this article just came out in the New York Times about how men are really bad at having friendships,
Not
and
surprising.
not surprising, and research indicates that 1 in 5 men in the US and 1 in what does this say? 1 in 3 men in the UK lack close friendships entirely.
Mm,
And I didn't read the entire article because it's fucking long, but basically, like, men are lacking these skills to have these friendships, but then when they interviewed men, a lot of them are saying, like, "I don't really need these close
yeah.
friendships." What do you think about that?
Well, it's not surprising. I think that
No.
is definitely clear from what we've seen. I guess the question is like, have they ever had them, or is it just like with certain age do they go away?
Yeah.
Because I think there's a difference there. But I do think women just place more emphasis on friendship. Actually, I'm thinking about the episode we did with Danielle Bayer Jackson, our
Yeah.
in-house friendship expert. Great episode. So make sure to go back and listen to that if you're interested in the topic. She talked about how women's relationship to their friends more closely resembles sisters, where men's more closely resembles a distant cousin. And I thought that was really
Mm.
fascinating.
Mhm.
I mean, do I think that men should have close friends? Absolutely, because I
Yeah.
think the benefit of friendship is so strong. I mean, I feel like, yeah, like clearly I have a wonderful partner and I'm happy about that, but wouldn't want to not have friends either. Like, I think
Well,
it just gives you
yeah.
something different.
And you can't be everything for your partner,
No.
and I think that's where friends do step in because it offers a little diversity in their relationships. My man friend just went to a dinner with his guy friends that he hadn't seen in, like, I don't know, half a year, maybe
Yeah.
even longer, and he was like, "That was really nice." Like, it was
Yes.
really nice getting the support from my guy friends, and they know my history, and he was kind of telling them about what he's been through this year, and they were like, why didn't you call, like,
Yeah.
why didn't you involve us in these conversations, because we're happy to support you. But he's like, I just assume, they're all like
Yeah.
married with kids and they live in different parts of town. I just didn't want to bother them.
Yeah.
But now they've decided that they're going to commit to a quarterly dinner,
Good.
and you have to show up, and it's, like, gonna be in they're gonna alternate neighborhoods because LA is so freaking big that they're gonna,
Yeah.
put in everybody's neighborhoods. But he came back from that dinner realizing that he really wants to work on these male friendships more this year.
Good. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I agree. I think anytime I go out with my friends, I always feel just like an energy that I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
sometimes you don't even realize you are missing it and need it. But I
Yeah.
do think, like, and I think this is for men and women, I feel the same way. Sometimes I don't wanna, like, burden people, and I
Yeah.
make assumptions that they're too busy and they're doing their own lives, and I've learned that those assumptions aren't true. A lot of my friends with kids are like, "We feel lonely. We feel like,
Mhm.
isolated." And I think everyone's kind of, like, afraid to ask for support, and everyone makes a lot
Yeah.
of assumptions, but, yeah, I mean, I'm all for men having the same types of in-depth friendships as women do collectively, and if you're a woman and not feeling that, like, yeah, like, what are those avenues? And I get, like, it's harder the older we get and the more settled people get, but just remembering that a lot of people are looking for what you're looking for, and it's not a burden.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that we're at this time now where New York Times has to write about
Right.
bad friendships that men can't have, or men lack the skills of having friendships. I don't think it's the lacking skills. I actually think there are just so many distractions for
Yeah.
people now that they're taking the place of friendships. And they'll never actually take place of friendships, but I sense that there's a lot of this feeling of like, I can just stay home and entertain myself, or I
Yeah.
can just, go to a cafe and entertain myself. As much as we love these master dates and solo dates, they're wonderful. We still need each other. And that is kind of like why we're so rare, is like
Yeah.
because we bond with each other as humans. So I hope that we can work on these things. And like I'm realizing even with my guy friends that I want to like reach out to them more. Just let them know I'm here for you if you need anything.
Well, I think there's a couple things like with technology too. Like I even feel this way. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I talk to this person all the time.
Yeah.
And then I realize I haven't seen them in a long time because it's just through
Yeah.
text or group text. And I think there's like this fault. And I think it's nice. I don't want to say it's like all bad because on a day to day, I can't actually see my friends every day. It's just not possible. So
Yeah.
it's nice to have this like kind of alternative way. It just can't be a total replacement. So there's
Right.
that. I do think, like, it takes someone being the initiator. I think, like,
Yes.
that's what my partner struggles with. Like, I think once he's there, he
Mhm.
really loves being around people, but he's not good at the initiation. And I think a
Yes.
lot of men are like that. I
Yeah.
think a lot of it's like, I don't want to bother them. I don't know if they're interested. And I think women, like, I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe it's like we have a longer friendship to begin with, but we just don't like have that burden as much.
Right. Yeah, because it's just natural. Like
It's
you're
more
going to reach out to your
natural.
friends to say how are you doing? Let's hang out. My ex had a ton of friends.
Well, yeah.
He had a I think he had way more friends than I did. Like he had always had plans with his friends. But the quality of the friends is
Yeah.
up for debate. I think the male friends in his life for sure. So who you surround yourself with is also very indicative of the type of person you're going to be. And I think going back to this it conversation, if I had known like the types of friends that he had
Mm,
hung out with in the beginning, I might have thought twice about everything. Because his friends were just very like his guy friends who still lived in Asia were
yeah,
very much in that misogynistic,
yeah,
very like I will cheat on my wife all I want, and I will as long as I bring in the money, I can cheat on my
yeah.
wife and she's just gonna have to deal with it. That kind of attitude, it's really troubling. But now looking back, I'm like, oh, kind of makes sense who you're surrounding yourself with.
100%. Maybe that is a good point. It's like if you're getting the ick from the friends, maybe that
Yeah.
is something to think about. It's interesting though, because I do think men fall in like two camps, and I get this is generalized, but it's like they either have like the shitload of friends, but they're
Yes.
like kind of surface level, maybe like
Yes.
going out friends or watching sports friends. I also think men, there are studies on this, like it's always around an activity more, where
Yeah.
women, it's just like, oh, we'll just like go
We'll
anywhere, but
chat.
the idea is to talk. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what makes it easier for us to have plans too, because they actually
Yeah.
need to find something. But I do think like the surface level, and especially if you don't adhere to their values, like that is saying a lot.
Right. So I would ask those questions in early
Yeah.
dating. If I were to date again, I'd be like, describe your closest friends and what do you like about them? What do you admire about your friends? And just see what they say. Like I think it's such a good question to ask, like, for them to ask you as well. Like, tell me about your closest friends. What are they like?
So I actually think that ick could be more telling because it's about values and,
Yes.
something that could be related to the relationship. Most icks, though, actually are probably more in line with the question we got today that are
Mm.
more surface level or like idiosyncrasies or things that they do. So the question we got was, I've been seeing someone who checks all the right boxes, kind,
Mhm.
funny, emotionally available, but recently I got the ick over something small. He slurps his soup and baby talks to his dog. Now I can't shake the feeling of being turned off, even though nothing major is wrong. Is this a sign I should end things, or is there a way to get past the ick?
Mm.
Baby talks the dog. I love it.
Guilty. Guilty. Well, okay. There's when you are in a relationship with someone, you're going to spend a lifetime finding out all the things that annoy you
Yeah.
about them, right? And the new things come up all the time. I actually think these are just little annoyances. I don't think they're an ick. Obviously, when someone slurps their soup, there is no correlation to if someone's going to be bad to you in a relationship. When someone baby talks their dog, there's no correlation to them being a terrible partner. So if we make those correlations and map them against each other, we can say, okay, these are just annoyances and they don't really indicate the character of this person.
I actually really think it boils down to two things of why people get the ick. It's either that they are doing it as a way to diffuse from themselves and
Hmm.
protect themselves. If I find a fault in other people, then it's not my fault the whole thing
Hmm.
ended. So that's one. Or the second is they actually don't really like this person and they're just pointing out this little thing. Maybe there's something they
Mm.
can't actually put into words of why they are not attracted to this person, because I feel like it goes back to what we've been saying since like season 1 of this podcast. Like two people could do the same exact thing. And if you
Yes.
like them, if you like one of them, it's cute. And if you don't like the other one, it's gross.
Yeah.
So I really think, or cringe. And I think that is the core of the ick, is that you find whatever they're doing cringe because you don't like them.
Yeah, let's go into the first one. I think that's really fascinating because what does this say about you? When
Yeah.
you're finding the fault in the other person, then it's less about you not making enough effort to make this work. It's less about you being, not wanting to be seen fully. I mean, you are placing the responsibility and accountability on someone else, and then now you have this great story to tell your friends, like, "Oh, it's
Yeah.
because of the slurping or the baby
Right.
talking to the dogs." But so much of what we see in modern dating is that we don't give each other enough time, and then we stop short at these icks. So and then we wipe our hands clean and say, "Well, it's not my fault. It's just like I couldn't unsee these things." So if we can work past that and say, "Well, this is I'm gonna take this as a challenge for myself to work through what are these perceived icks," then that's growth. That
Yeah.
is actually persevering through to that next phase.
So maybe to figure out if you're in bucket 1 or bucket 2, is do you get the ick from every person you date?
Yeah.
Because then it might be a you thing. If you don't and you're getting it from someone, I remember, like, this is before the ick was mainstream, but I remember, like, there was one guy I dated that, like, objectively, there was nothing wrong with him. He was a good-looking
Mhm.
guy. I, like, got along with him fine, but for whatever reason, like, the thought of him touching me was, like, ick
Mm.
feeling. And I think I was just, like, looking for like, I just couldn't pinpoint what it was, but the connection just wasn't there. So I think
Mm.
if you aren't feeling this, like, all the time, but you're getting it with someone, maybe, like, take a step back and be like, "Is it really the slurping? Or am I just not into this person?" And
Right.
if you're not into them, that's fine, like, move along. But I do think if it's a pattern of yours to find this, it might be less about them and more about your own availability.
Yeah. Are you on an ick quest so that you have funny stories? So that you have funny stories to tell your friends about all the crazy icks that you found in people? Like, I certainly know girlfriends like that who just love to talk about the ick because they think it's funny. And then I have to stop them. I'm like, this
Yeah.
is not funny to me. It's not entertaining to me. If you want to tell me about your icks, like go for it, but I don't want to listen.
So, do you remember that TV show with Kristen Bell? I'm totally blanking on the name now.
Nobody wants this.
Yes. Remember the episode where she got the
Yeah.
ick when he like I forget it was
What
like
was he doing?
he was oh my god, what's that like Italian like that like brand of like Italian food? He like did some
He did
gesture.
something Italian,
Yeah, like
right?
he was like I forget. He brought like I don't even remember what he did, but something that turned her off. And the whole episode was like how you could come back from the ick. And I think it really was showing like that it was self-imposed, that she was looking for something because they were getting closer. And it felt like easier to push him away with the ick. And that like reality check from I think it was her sister or a friend or someone at that time actually helped her move past it to be like, or I think they actually talked it
Oh,
out.
Play-Go. You
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
Play-Go.
And I think,
Mhm.
like, they talked it out, and, like, he even
Yeah,
was like, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere." Like, and if that scares you, like, I think that was, like, really it got more vulnerable. So maybe it's, like, looking through for that vulnerability out underneath the ick, and that will help, remove it.
that was such a beautiful discussion because
Yeah.
nobody addresses the ick. Like, once you get the
No.
ick, most people just move on, but
Right.
and she just, like, basically told her sister first, right? And she's
Yeah.
like, "I
I
can't
think
get over this."
I think that's what it was, and the sister was like, "Dump him," because she was, like, already
Yeah,
against
yeah,
him, and then,
yeah,
like, she kind of expressed it to him, and he was like, "This is ridiculous," like, because he
yeah,
was not used to, like, modern dating at all, like, he was, like,
yeah,
a rabbi and, like, more in relationships. He's like, "So what? I said prego, that doesn't change anything."
yeah, it doesn't mean I'm a terrible person. Get
Right.
over it.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Good. Yeah, this is good. Figure out why you're getting the ick,
Yep.
not who you're getting the ick from, because that's independent. Like, why are you getting the ick? Is it just an excuse for you to say that you're just not into this person, or are you just on this ick hunt
Yeah.
and you can't get past it and go deeper with someone? Figure it out and then take action from there.
Cool. Okay. I don't
All
have the
right.
ick about the ick anymore. Great.
Good. All right. We'll see you all next week.
Bye.